We are now looking for Lisa Murphy, and we have found her. We're going to talk about funding for the Chinatown Navigation Center.
Mayor, actually, we have a 6 o'clock item that we need to take up, which is consideration item 25-371.
Oh, okay, so we need to take, okay.
Take that one up now, please.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and take a report from the City Clerk. We will 1.5 minutes, and we will take up to 90 minutes of comment.
So as you may recall, on May 13th of this year, the City Council introduced an ordinance, Ordinance 2687, to repeal the 4 rent-related ordinance previously adopted. Those ordinances are 2663, the Residential Rental Registration Program, 2681, Rent Stabilization, 2682, Tenant Protection and Just Cause Eviction, Ordinance 2683, Tenant Anti-Harassment Ordinances. Those ordinances, or the repeal ordinance, was subsequently adopted on June 3rd, 2025, and it was to become effective 30 days after its adoption, which is on July 3rd. Subsequently, on July 3rd, 2025, within the 30-day period prescribed in Election Code 9237, Protect Salinas Renters 2026, which are the proponents of the referendum, submitted a referendum of the repeal ordinance to my office as required by Election Code. A prima facie count was completed by my office with the assistance of our Assistant City Clerk and Legal Secretary Araceli Jacinto from our legal office. The referendum petition was transmitted to the Monterey County Registrar of Voters for a full check and examination of signatures on that same day. On August 15, 2025, my office received the Registrar's Certificate of Signature Verification. The certificate of sufficiency was forwarded to the proponents, and the council was also notified of the results on that same day. The certificate, just a summary of what was in the certificate, which is also attached to the report online. The number of required signatures to qualify the referendum were 6,998. The County Elections Office completed a full count of 10,448 signatures. Of those signatures, 7,156 were valid signatures and 3,292 were found not sufficient. So in accordance with Election Code 9114, the certification of the qualified referendum petition is presented to the City Council today for acceptance. Next steps will include that we will bring back on September 9th. At that meeting, the City Council will be presented with options as it relates to the referendum of the repeal ordinance. Those options will include that the council can repeal the ordinance at that time or submit the repeal ordinance to the voters at either the next regular municipal election or at a special election for this purpose, not less than 88 days after the order of the City Council. Those 2 options are not for, you won't be taking action on those options today. Today, we're simply accepting the certificate of sufficiency. So with that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. It's sad to know that when you repeal these renter protections, you probably thought the community wouldn't be able to fight back, that we couldn't come together, that we wouldn't gather enough signatures. But we proved you wrong. Not only did we gather the needed signatures, we went above and beyond with over 10,000 voices and thousands more who would have signed if they could. That didn't happen by accident. It happened because this community refuses to be ignored. Families, seniors, farm workers, people came together across generations and neighborhoods to defend their right to stay in their homes. We're not here asking, we are telling you, repeal your repeal. Stand with renters, not against them, because your seats belong to the people and the people are watching.
My name is Olga Reina. I belong with BHC, Thriving Neighborhood Salinas. I want to start with one fact. The people of Salinas have spoken. We needed 6,998 signatures. We didn't just meet that threshold. 7,156 signatures were verified, and more than 10,000 people signed overall. That is one of the largest petition turnouts Salinas has ever seen. The people are clear. We want rent stabilization on the ballot. This isn't a fringe idea. This is a small group. This is Salinas speaking loudly. So we urge you, respect the will of the people, repeal your vote to repeal rent stabilization, and let the voters decide in November 2026, not in an expensive, rushed special election that would cost this city over $1 million. Listen to the numbers, listen to the people.
Buenas noches, señor alcalde y concejales. Me llamo Karina Tapia y estoy aquí con BHCMC, Vecindarios Prósperos de Salinas. Quiero empezar con un dato. El pueblo de Salinas ha hablado y necesitamos 6.998 mil firmas. No solo alcanzamos ese umbral, se verificaron 7.156 mil firmas y más de 10 mil personas firmando en general. Esa es una de las mayores participaciones en peticiones que Salinas haya visto jamás. El pueblo lo tiene claro. Queremos la estabilización de cualquier boleta electoral. Esta no es una idea marginal, no es un grupo pequeño, es Salinas hablando en voz alta. Le invitamos a que respete la voluntad del pueblo, revoque su voto para revocar la estabilización de alquileres y deje que los votantes decidan en noviembre del 2026. No es una elección especial costosa y apresurada que le costaría a esta ciudad más de $1 millón. Escuchen los números, escuchen a la gente. Gracias.
Because she said the same thing the other person said before her, just in Spanish.
Hi, good evening. My name is Dr. Laura Solorio. I'm a resident of District 3 for many years. And so good evening, council members, city manager, city council. Tonight, I'd like to remind everyone respectively who you represent in Salinas, the people of Salinas, individuals in Salinas, not developers, not landlords, not special interests, but the people. Over 10,000 residents signed this petition. That's families, workers, seniors, students, and over 7,000 of those signatures have been verified by the county clerk. That's thousands more than required. To ignore this turnout would be to ignore democracy itself. We are asking you to respect the will of the people and allow rent stabilization to go on the November 2026 ballot. Don't force an expensive special election that would waste over $1 million of taxpayer money. The choice is simple: honor the people's voices or silence them. We hope you choose democracy.
Esto es muy sencillo. Más de 10,000 personas firmaron. Se verificaron 7,156. El requerimiento fue solamente 6,996. El pueblo de Salinas ha hablado alto, claro y firme. Su responsabilidad ahora no es ignorar sus voces, no desperdiciar el dinero de los contribuyentes en una elección especial de $1 millón, sino honrar la democracia y permitir que esto llegue a las elecciones regulares en noviembre del 2026. Cualquier cosa menos sería faltarles al respeto a quienes votaron por ustedes para servir. Yo les tengo una pregunta, nada más. Tómense un minuto de ponerse en los zapatos de las personas que estamos pasando por esta situación. Yo pago 4,500 de renta y estoy trabajando 4 horas al día. Díganme ustedes a dónde tengo que parar, a dónde tengo que ir con mis hijos. Se los pido de favor que se toquen su corazón y que vean que esto es una necesidad. Creo que todos somos dignos de tener una casa al igual que todos ustedes. Gracias.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. This is simple. 10,000 signatures were given, 7,156 signatures were verified. The requirement was 6,996. Salinas' population has spoken, and they have spoken in clear, firm, and high voices. Ignoring these voices would be disrespectful because instead of wasting $1 million on a special election, why don't we wait for the normal election in November 2026? It would be disrespectful for the people who voted for you to ignore these voices. And I'm asking you to please just think for 1 minute and put yourselves in the shoes of all of us. I pay $4,500 in rent. I'm only able to work 4 hours a day. Where am I going to end up with my children? Please ask you to put your hand in your heart and listen to the need of the people that also have the right to have a decent home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council members, I'm not speaking for myself tonight. I'm speaking for the 10,000 people who signed this petition. I'm speaking for the neighbors who are scared every month when rent goes up. I'm speaking for the students, the workers, the elders, and who want to stay in the city they love. The people have spoken. We're asking you to listen. Do not ignore us. Do not silence us. Repeal the repeal.
So I'm going to take you back. Do you remember growing up and your parents were suffering, not having enough money to pay the bills, to pay the rent? I believe that many of you spoke up during that time. Many of you felt it, that your parents didn't have enough money to buy you shoes or food, or that you went to the store and you wanted a snack and it wasn't enough money. This is what our people are suffering right now. So just go back in time. It's very easy. Most of your population here, they work at the farms. They don't make enough money. If we're talking about $2,000 a month, what can you do with that? We're talking about people leaving 4 to 5 families in one single home. That's what you're facing. That's where you're going to change. So if that's how you want your city to keep depleting, look at your streets, how terrible they look. How is that going to happen? They can't work. They have to move to other places. And of all of you that got bought by the ag, think about it. Is it worth it? Now, my next question is what legacy you're going to leave behind. Your nietos, you know what we call those? Our grandkids and our great-grandkids. That's what you're leaving behind. You have something in your power that you can actually keep it in place. It took a lot of work to make it happen. So next time you look at the mirror and say, who am I affecting? Don't forget, you're privileged right now. You're sitting there because the people chose for you to be there.
City Council members, my name is George Villa. I am the Program and Policy Manager for MIPA organization. I'm also a lifelong resident here in Salinas, and with Team Villa Boxing. I co-founded a boxing gym 12 years ago because there was a need for spaces here in Salinas. I'm here with the Renters Salinas Protection Group to also urge you all to repeal the repeal. We feel, as you heard from many of the residents, that this repeal is not going to benefit anyone other than wealthy people. We also think that, there has been many stories that we heard from many students about them unable to pay for rent or tuition. We also have seen a decline in gymnasiums, our boxing gym, and also we heard of stories of intimidation and retaliatory attacks on renters, even because of their legal status or status. And so we here to, in solidarity with the people of Salinas, to urge y'all to repeal the repeal, and we ask with respect. Thank you so much.
Donahue, my name is Robin Cohn. I have worked with migrant students through the Migrant Education Program in Monterey County for 30 years, and through home visits, through working with students, through reading their essays where they speak about their lives. There's no question of the impact of the housing shortage here in Salinas and all Monterey County. The idea of holding a special election with the scarce, precious resources that we have in Salinas, it's an outrage. It's an outrage to the needs of the people in this city. Are these ordinances the perfect answer to the problem? As the gentleman said, well, we need more housing. Yeah, we need more housing. Nobody is arguing against more housing. There is not just one solution to the housing shortage. So don't let the fact that these ordinances aren't the only solution that we need keep us from offering these remediations to help people survive. There are schools in Salinas where 70% of the students are designated as homeless under McKinney-Bento. Think about that. When you go home at night, you think of a place of respite, a place to have a break. When these kids go home at night, they may be going home to a 2-bedroom place shared with 14 people. There is no respite there.
I'm Eleanor Elliott from District 5. There seems to be some confusion around wording. Our last council passed a rent stabilization ordinance. However, people continue to refer to it as rent control. Rent stabilization is much less restrictive and allows landlords greater leniency than rent control. It allows for controlled fixed percentage increases in each year, while control sets a rigid low price limit on rent. We did our homework and we did the footwork. We put in hundreds of hours gathering info and signatures. The residents of Salinas voiced their concerns, but problems arise when candidates are elected as a result of big money interests rather than the wants and needs of their residents. The housing shortages and rising cost of living has harmed a great number of residents here, and we sought relief, but you shot it down. Well over half of Salinas residents are renters, which is higher than the state average of 44%. These are your constituents, the people you were elected to back and serve. No, we didn't donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to your campaigns, but you are still expected to support and stand with all of us. Thank you. Please repeal the repeal.
Mi nombre es María Chávez, vivo en Salinas. Miles de personas firmaron la petición para mantener la estabilización de alquileres, estas ordenanzas. Hablo por mis vecinos, mi familia y los miles de inquilinos que están de esta ciudad que viven preocupados y estresados cada mes. Más de 10,000 personas firmaron esta petición, algo inaudito en Salinas. Se verificaron 7,156, una cifra muy superior al requisito. Esto demuestra que no es un asunto menor. La estabilización de alquileres es un salvavidas para las familias de nuestra comunidad. Les pedimos no luchen en contra de la gente, no malgasten más de $1 millón en fondos municipales en unas elecciones específicas. Hagan lo correcto, derroguen su derogación y déjenos votar en noviembre del 2026. Gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Chavez, and I live here in Salinas. 1,000 people signed the rent stabilization and the ordinance. I'm talking here because of the families, my neighbors. 10,000 people signed. That has to mean something. This rent stabilization helps us because there's a lot of people that are living stressed because of the housing issue. This is unheard of. More than 10,000 people signed this petition, and 7,156 was the requirement. This has to mean something. This is no small issue. This is a safeguard that helps the community. Don't fight against the community. We're here. Instead of spending $1 million on a special election, repeal the repeal, and let us vote on the normal November 2026 voting.
I'm John Silva, my wife Natalie Silva from District 3. We've offered health care in Salinas since 1987. The stability that these 4 ordinances afford is healthy to our city's most marginalized renters, female heads of households, seniors, and those extremely rent burdened, populations that are growing in Salinas and who we met with while seeking signatures. The extreme poverty that agricultural and food processing wages provides is damaging to mental health, particularly of young people. We know the people of Salinas want these ordinances, as evidenced by the undeniable success of our signature drive. Rental stabilization is good policy that the city has already significantly invested in with personnel and technology. The ordinances intentionally offer relief procedures to landlords who are able to document hardship from these ordinances. The data regarding the ordinance's effect on housing supply is contextual, but we do know in the last 5 to 10 years, more coastal counties are enacting rental stabilization ordinances to ensure stability in their workforces. The voting public of Salinas want you to rescind your repeal and keep these community benefiting ordinances.
Mi nombre es Marisela y vivo en el Distrito 6 y trabajo para la organización Centro Binacional. Hay muchas personas de la comunidad que han llegado con nosotros y han expresado sus sentimientos Por eso hoy vengo en representación de ellos también y pedimos que se mantengan las ordenanzas y que las incluyan en las boletas del 2026. Ignorar estas 10,000 firmas es ignorar a su comunidad que representan. Entonces pido que tomen la mejor decisión para la comunidad que representan y también pedimos que multen a los propietarios que al momento de escuchar de las ordenanzas que ya no iban a estar vigentes, usaron esta falsa información en contra de la comunidad y les pedían que les regresaran el dinero. Esto es violar el derecho de los inquilinos y esperamos que hagan algo al respecto. Muchas de las personas por años han sufrido estos abusos y por fin hay esperanza para la comunidad, pero sus mismos representantes les han fallado. Es tiempo de pensar por el bienestar de su comunidad. Gracias.
Good afternoon, City Council. My name is Marisela, and I live in District 6. I'm also an organizer with CBDIO. Many people have approached me and expressed their feelings regarding the ordinance, and I'm here to represent them. I'm asking you to please allow the people to vote in 2026, put it in the ballot. 10,000 people spoke, and it's not logical to spend all that money. Please make the best decision for our community, and please find the landlords that the minute that they found out that this was repealed, they used this false information to charge more and asking people to give back the money. This is against the people. This is against the people that are asking for this protection, and we should not allow this abuse. We have to give hope to the community. Thank you.
My name is Ignacio. I have been working over 30 years as a social worker here in our community, mostly with people who rent. And more than lecturing you on democratic values and ethics, I just like to appeal to your humanity. I think all of you are very capable individuals with a good heart. That's why you are serving here, because you have a call towards the people, towards the service to your country. Please do hear us. It's not control rent, it's stabilizing rent. It's just the right thing. You heard a lot of arguments, very passionate and smart people about this. Do the right thing. I have a lot of respect for all of you. With the distinction of those two gentlemen, you guys wanted to put to go against the rent stabilization. I do believe that was a mistake. Please reconsider. You are very capable, very intelligent, and thank you for your time.
Council, my name is Chris Barrera, President of LULAC Council 2055. LULAC 2055 is in favor of accepting all signatures to repeal your repeal. Let's be clear, public comment is not here to make you comfortable. It's here to remind you that the power you hold doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the people. When you roll your eyes, rush speakers, or brush off concerns, you expose exactly what kind of leaders you are, ones that think you're above the very people who put you here. If you can't sit still and listen, you don't deserve the seat you're sitting in. Public service means facing criticism, not dodging it. Public comment is the people's voice, and when you disrespect it, you disrespect democracy itself. If you have somewhere else to be, if there's a game on, or if you just need to get to bed early, this is not the place for you. And if this is too much for you, then maybe it's time to find another line of work. I'd like to add congratulations to Protect Salinas renters for their hard work and dedication. Thank you.
Just wanted to say, yeah, we all know that rent's high. We know Big Ag is gonna try to, keep it like that, and whoever else, but we need to profitize off of this. Instead of having a special election, let's let it go to 2026 or whatever, for that, and We can make a docuseries off of this, or, kind of show the world what we're going through right now with this. We got the new kid in town, Amazon, who's here. We can start, I don't want to say leeching off of them, but let's start making them pay for things. Big Ags is just because they're here, they don't have to be paying for everything else. So just want to, say that let's not waste this opportunity by wasting precious tax dollars on a special election. Those tax dollars can be allocated to somewhere where it truly needs to be at. So having a special election for that it's not going to be the answer. Let's let the people decide for this in this matter. And just want to remind Mr. Aurelio, I noticed that you were voted Man of the Year 22 years ago by LULAC. And I seen that in an article. Just want to remind you of that, show that everybody that that you really are the man that you are. Thank you.
My name is Jacob Sandoval, and I'm part of Protect Salinas Renters. There are flyers being passed around, so there's been a lot of misinformation about what's actually in the ordinances. So I encourage everyone to review it. Last time the community asked you for 6 months, you said that was too long. But in the end, the referendum forced 6 months anyways. During that time, our city was left in limbo. Nothing was effectively implemented, no real education provided for either landlords or tenants. A 1-year window would finally give the city a chance to put these ordinances into action, track what works and what doesn't, make adjustments based on real data, not speculation. A committee could be formed to review the data and bring recommendations. Do not believe the false claims that rent stabilization reduces housing production. The city of Oxnard passed rent stabilization and tenant protections in 2022. And today, they have over 3,000 housing units in the pipeline, with 1,500 already under construction. Salinas can do the same. Let's follow models that work. Let's make a data-driven decision, repeal, and keep those rental ordinances in place. Thank you.
Alcalde, mi nombre es Nidia Soto, soy organizadora de la justicia económica con BHC. Los votantes han hablado en Salinas. Está claro que los votantes de Salinas no están de acuerdo con su decisión el pasado junio 3, 2025. Su decisión solo demostró de qué lado están. Los números demuestran el poder de la gente. Más de 10,000 firmas colectadas. Esto demuestra que Salinas está unida y fuerte. Esto demuestra que la comunidad apoya la estabilización de alquiler. 7,156 firmas fueron verificadas y certificadas por el registro del Condado de Monterrey. Representen a sus votantes. Ustedes solo son 5 y se deben al pueblo. Derroguen su derogación y permitan que los inquilinos de Salinas permanezcan protegidos de altos aumentos de alquiler, desalojos injustos y libres de acoso. Derroguen su derogación, no hagan una decisión equivocada. No a una elección especial. Gracias.
Council, my name is Nidia Soto, and I'm organizer of economic justice with BHC. The voters have spoken in Salinas. It is clear that the voters in Salinas do not agree with your decision that you made in June 3rd, 2025. Your decision showed what side you guys are on. The numbers show the power of the people. More than 10,000 signatures were collected. This shows that Salinas is united and strong. This shows that the community supports rent stabilization. Also, 7,156 signatures were verified and certified by the County of Monterey. Let's respect the voters. You are just 5, and you guys owe yourself to the community. Please repeal the repeal. Allow the tenants of Salinas to remain protected from high rent, unfair evictions, and free of harassments. Don't make a decision that is wrong. Don't take this to a special election. Thank you.
My name is Lauren Walters, and I'm a City of Salinas resident. I'm here, like many of the other residents today, to make public comment expressing my dissatisfaction with the council's decision to revoke the equity-based rent stabilization policies. With a city that's made up of a majority population of renters, equity-based rent stabilization policies are a great step in the right direction of ensuring that we protect the people of our city from unacceptable living conditions, harassment from landlords, and uncertainty of stable housing options. I researched the policies and how they were selected by the last City Council and believe them to be fair for all parties involved, landlords and renters. And I also say this confidently as a landlord myself. The only reason I can think of that y'all repealed this rent stabilization policy against the advisement of the people most affected, renters, is that you are in the pockets of campaign donors who have personal interest against equitable housing rights. Let me remind you that y'all work for us as Salinas residents and not your donors. It's not too late to do what's right to protect the people you claim to represent. Respect the voice of the people, repeal your repeal, and keep rent stabilization and tenant protections in Salinas.
This comment is directed toward Margaret Diarigo. As you know, my name is Carrie Swenson. I live in District 3. I own a small business in Salinas, and I teach history at Hartnell College. I'm here today to urge you now to demand that you reverse your vote and support rent stabilization. You can support rent stabilization and landlords at the same time. You were elected to represent the people of District 3, not the landlord's lobby. The repeal of renter protections was a betrayal to working families, students, seniors, and the backbone of this community. You voted to strip away safeguards that gave renters a fighting chance in the housing market that's already brutal. The vote didn't just repeal the ordinance, it repealed hope. I work with students who live in overcrowded, unsafe conditions. I talk with families in District 3 choosing between rent and groceries. And this council turned its back on thousands of renters in Salinas. You say the policy wasn't sustainable. What's not sustainable is a city where people rent couches for $300 because they have no other option. You have the power to fix this. Repeal the repeal. Work with renters and landlords. Show us that you stand with your constituents, not corporate interest. Because if you don't, we will remember and we will organize. Thank you.
Wes White, Salinas Monterey County Homeless Union. Dude, District 1 meeting, there was the city manager talking about the pecking order of who's important here. Amazon's going to give me over $100 million a year in revenue. Love's is good. Costco gives me over $100 million in revenue. You know, your Chick-fil-A's, your Burger Kings, those will give me tens of thousands of dollars. Supermarkets, not so much because we can only get like 12% off of that. Homeowners, that's a 1%. So when you look at the pie of everything, you know who you're beholden to, and you're proving that time and time again with what you're doing here. I'll call you the Salinas Fraud 5, because that's about the only way you do business. You want to keep on taking from people constantly. I'm going to throw it out there too. I bet you're going to do a special election because of everything that I heard during that meeting. You can watch it online, the whole thing. I'm not lying, dude. It's basically the writing's on the wall. It may not be inked yet, but I'm betting that that's what you're going to do is a special election, and you can't wait. You wish you could have done it tonight even, but you got to go through a little bit of process. And I'm still mad about this 90-second thing. That's so wrong. It's so wrong, dude. All you want, you're constricting like a boa constrictor, and we just pray to you. Squeeze us for every little penny and dollar we got left, and then throw us away like garbage. Now you're homeless. Yeah, I can't wait for that. You need to also stop the sweeps, man. Hopefully there's some solidarity in this because people are dying out here, man, and it's all because you guys want to keep on raising money on everything.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Juanita Aguilar y solamente quiero recordarles que este movimiento de Protect Salinas Renters fue uno de los mayores participaciones que tuvo la ciudad de Salinas. No se consiguen 10,000 firmas solamente por casualidad, no se consiguen porque la gente está en una situación de manera urgente para tener una solvencia económica. Entonces, ¿por qué las familias están pasando por apuros? Y porque la democracia les importa, aunque afuera aparentemente no les importe a ustedes. Estamos aquí para hacer historia, para bien, Pero si ignoran estas firmas, también estarán haciendo historia por silenciar la voluntad popular. Realmente los quiero invitar a todos a que tomen conciencia de lo que están haciendo. Derogaron en junio y afortunadamente la gente está despertando, la gente está diciendo mi participación sí vale, sí cuenta y queremos, ¿verdad? Que también hagan ustedes conciencia de eso. Ustedes se deben al pueblo. Ustedes cuando fueron afuera a buscar el voto popular, ustedes hicieron muchas promesas. Ustedes dijeron vamos a ayudarles, vamos a apoyar al pueblo y ¿qué es lo que estamos haciendo? ¿Qué es lo que están haciendo ustedes? La gente allá afuera quiere una solvencia, quiere una paz, quiere tranquilidad. Estamos en una situación económica prácticamente muy baja. Y solamente les voy a preguntar a todos ustedes, ¿realmente la ciudad tiene para costear esa elección especial? Cuando afuera hay muchas cosas que se tienen que arreglar, creo que no. Entonces yo solamente los quiero invitar a que deroguen su derogación, que no hagan caso omiso de estas más de 10,000 firmas que se juntaron, que se colectaron y que no fueron por casualidad, fue porque la gente quiere una estabilización de renta. La gente está pidiendo un alivio económico para su familia, para miles, son miles de familias que están allá afuera que están sufriendo. Entonces yo les pido que, así como muchos les han dicho, pónganse la mano en el corazón porque ustedes se deben a la gente. Ustedes están aquí por la gente que los eligió. Gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Juanita Aguilar, and I'm here to remind you that this movement of Protect Salinas renters was one of the biggest movements with most participation. 10,000 people participated. Why? Because it's urgent, because they need the economic relief. Salinas wants democracy, and we care about that. It seems like you don't care about it, but this is something that is going to be historic. Please don't silence the voters, the people. You repealed in June, but the people woke up, and we realized that our voice counts, that the people, we supported this, we went out, we got the signatures, and the thing is that when you went out there and you asked for people to vote for you, you owe yourself to these people. People want peace. They want to live with economic stability. Please be honest. Does the city really have $1 million to invest in a special election when there's so many other things that the city has to fix? I invite you to repeal the repeal. Do not ignore these 10,000 signatures. If people sign this document, it's because we need rent stabilization. We need the economic relief. 1,000 of people are suffering, and as other people had said, please put your hands on your heart and realize that people need this. They need this rent stabilization. Thank you.
My name is Francisco Rodriguez. I'm Executive Director with the Monterey Bay Central Labor Council. We represent labor organizations across Monterey and Santa Cruz County. Many of our members were very active in collecting those signatures. Many of our members live here in Salinas, and many of our members are renters. And so we ask of you two things. Number one, that you accept the signature verification that is before you today. And number two, that on September 9th, you vote to repeal your ordinances and let the tenant protection and rent stabilization ordinances stand in place. Thank you very much.
Members, my name is Sally Perneda, and I've been a school teacher for 46 years and a real estate agent for 25 years. And during the time that I was a real estate agent, I purchased many properties. And one of the properties, for example, it's a property in East Salinas. It's a 4-bedroom home, and I rent it for $1,350. It should go for $2,700 to $3,000. But I choose to be fair to my tenants, to help them out. With my first tenants that were there, because I had the rent so low, they were able to save money and purchase a property. So I'm always supporting my tenants. And if I can do it as a school teacher, I can charge low rents and support my tenants. Why can't the rest of us do it? The rest of the landlords. They should be able to do even better because teachers don't make that much. One year I made $53,000 in teaching. I made $110,000 in real estate, part-time. So I was able to invest. So I know what landlords can make. So I support the tenants. Thank you very much.
Yesterday at 2:40 p.m., I was walking in downtown Salinas. When I came to the corner of California and Harbor Street, I saw a man and his belongings scattered all between the curb and the city sidewalk. The man was sleeping. Parents and their children walking around him were bewildered, confused, and sad. And you know what? I thought about you guys. Thank you.
Members, Matt Huerta here, Salinas resident and affordable housing practitioner of over 25 years. Tonight we ask you to respect the work of our city staff, the county staff, and the thousands of voters in Salinas who signed our referendum petition. Please accept the signature certification. I am proud to have worked with the Protect Salinas Renters team. We join forces with homeowners, business owners, and our workforce from farm workers to teachers, doctors, attorneys. We will continue to protect Salinas renters from displacement, harassment, and extreme rent hikes. We will not stop. We invite you to join us and stop fighting the workforce who makes our local economy function. And for the next meeting, I hope you can have the courage to repeal your repeal ordinance instead of wasting taxpayer dollars on a costly election. I continue to stand ready with you, Mayor, and others to work with everybody to create more housing for our residents. Let's move on from fighting over these ordinances as soon as possible. Thank you.
My name is Jaime Gonzalez, and I'm still trying to understand why 5 of you chose to harm our community by attempting to repeal renter protections. Part of my job as a physician is to understand why people make poor choices. I do that by asking questions. So I'm here to ask the 5 of you why you insisted on removing rental protections that will be detrimental to the public health of our community. It can't be because of data, because as of today, no data has been reported from this ordinance yet. It can't be because the ordinances were unpopular amongst the people, because we were able to gather 10,000 signatures for this petition in less than a month. People were literally stopping me in the hallways, stopping me in the streets, asking me to go to their homes to gather in their neighbors so they can get signatures. Now imagine how many people we can get to vote you guys out or even recall you if we had more time. Is it because you're afraid of your wealthy donors? Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't need to be afraid of them. You don't need to run again for re-election. If you think you're going to leave a legacy, half of you were already retired. If you think that people are wanting this, I can tell you, you guys are not invited to the carnita asada. The message is clear. Back off, leave our community alone, and stop your repeals.
My name is Joel Hernandez Laguna. I'm the Executive Director at the Center for Community Advocacy. And you know, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we were here. You made a decision as a body to remove the ordinances. And so it was a tough decision. I mean, we've been at this for a couple of months, and you have a tough decision now again. And that's the role and the importance of government, right? It's like we have elected officials to make decisions, but it's also the elected officials' responsibility to hear what the community is saying. And as I go through, asking a lot of people, when was the last time that the community repealed something that the city council did? And I couldn't get a straight answer, so it must have been a long time. And so, or maybe even the first time that this has happened. But now you encounter yourself again with another tough decision of making a decision whether you repeal the repeal, and that's going to take a lot of courage and humility from the city council to accept that maybe it did a wrong decision on June 3rd. And so you all have to think about that. And then it's the general election, and then the special election. Now, we all know that the budgets have been really tough in the last couple of years. So that's a really unfavorable decision for you to take a special election decision to spend over $1 million on funding that can be used for something else. So again, I reconsider for you to take the best decision decision possible that continues to benefit Salinas. Thank you.
Good evening, Eric Peterson. And I'll try not to repeat too much of what has been said because the community has spoken very well. At the last meeting, I brought up something where the city is paying more than it should be for something, in that case, electricity. We don't need to waste over $1 million on an election, especially since the good guys already have 15 to 20% of the vote. All the outside Salinas money you can get isn't going to counter that, especially since the supporters, your supporters, can't vote here legally. Thank you.
Todos, mi nombre es Jesús Estrada, soy un organizador con centro de abogacía de la comunidad. Hoy yo nuevamente estoy aquí para pedirles que derogue su propia derogación que hicieron o mala decisión que hicieron el 3 de junio. La gente de afuera o los residentes inquilinos de aquí de Salinas, ellos ven que fue mala decisión que tomaron junio 3, ¿sí? Y el mensaje es muy claro. En 30 días la participación de la gente fue grande, con 10,000 y tanto firmas en 30 días. Si ustedes ven eso, ¿quién puede hacer ese trabajo? ¿Quién? Sin la participación de los residentes que son inquilinos, no hubieran levantado 10,000 y tanto. Por eso que creo que es tiempo, ustedes pueden rectificar, tomar una decisión correcta, si es que ustedes quieren hacerlo, si es que ustedes creen que, porque la gente ve la mala decisión, pero si ustedes creen que tomaron una buena decisión, pues ya quedarán en ustedes. La gente los va a juzgar a cada uno de ustedes de aquí en adelante. Gracias.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jesus Estrada, and I'm an organizer with CCA. So today I'm here to ask you to repeal the repeal. The decision that was taken on June 3rd was a bad decision. People in Salinas saw that was a bad decision, and the message was that in 30 days, 10,000 people, renters, decided to sign a petition. So that wouldn't have happened if people didn't see that the decision that you took were bad. 10,000 tenants came up and spoke. So I'm asking you to please think about that. Think about it, that in 30 days, people organized and were able to gather 10,000 signatures. And I'm asking you to please make a good decision. But if you think that the decision you took was not bad, well, then it would be your conscience, and people are going to judge you for that.
My message today is for my community, my neighbors. Thank you for standing up and making your voices heard. You showed that when we organize, we can hold our elected officials accountable. It's obvious too much influence from big donors have clouded some council members' judgment. Decisions that favor special interest over working families, and we see the city council following the voice of the mayor instead of thinking independently. When I was on council, we listened to hundreds of residents asking for rent relief. We acted because stable housing means keeping families in their homes. My message to my community, great job. You proved that no one up there holds absolute power. They work for you, not the other way around. Let's keep holding them accountable and repeal the repeal. Thank you.
How's it going? My name is Diego Diaz. I currently work with Milpa. I'm a recent graduate from CSUMB. I was also a residential advisor for 3 years. And what I can tell you right now, that there's a major housing crisis happening for all the students. There's not enough housing for a majority of the students. There's such an influx of freshmen coming in that the school is unable to house the majority of its students. So right now there's a bunch of students scrambling right now, looking for apartments, looking for housing. And instead of focusing on their classes and enjoying the first day of school that started on Monday, they're trying to figure out a place to live, trying to figure out what couch to crash on. They're looking at places here in Salinas and they're not able to find the right place to live. And I challenge you all to go onto Facebook and just look at the different organizations they have on there and tally up every homeless student right now trying to find housing, because I guarantee you that you'll be up until the morning still tallying those votes. So I really want y'all to think about that because the students are struggling right now. And, you know, we're trying to support the students as much as we can, but there's only so much we can do. And so, yeah, thank you.
Luis Chago Juarez for Building Healthy Communities. Will avoid trying my best to repeat anything that we've already heard, but it does require attention. And as was communicated earlier, it is really tough to hear. A community having to repeat a message that has been delivered over and over again since you all stepped into the office. But I do believe that we're moving all of this together, and this appeared to be an opportunity that I'm really hoping to hear and understand what was learned by the 5 who decided to repeal these ordinances. What was the lessons? Because I know that the community has learned a lot, and participation has been one of the things that our community is walking away with, the value of the participation. So if these from now to the rest of your term, this is why we're here, to engage, participate in this democracy. So thank you.
Venimos con el respeto que se merecen. Y ustedes han escuchado los testimonios de que todos los que participaron. Lo que pedimos es que lo hayan escuchado bien, lo analicen bien, porque ya se había tomado una decisión que todos ya teníamos mucho gusto en que sí iba a proceder, en que ya no iba a afectar mucho a los que rentamos. Por eso les pedimos de favor que lo analicen bien, que se escuche lejos y que se oiga. Los concejales de Salinas están haciendo algo por sus ciudadanos, que no sea que cosa que se había ganado quieran revocarlo. Les pedimos de favor que analicen y que esa revocación no proceda. Es lo que le pedimos nada más. Repito, que se escuche lejos y que se oiga. Los concejales de Salinas están haciendo algo por sus ciudadanos, porque también sus ciudadanos merecen respeto. Ya lo demostramos que estamos presentando 10,000 firmas.
With all the respect you deserve, I ask you to please hear and analyze all the testimonies and all the people that have come and spoken to you today. We were happy, and we were very happy to see that the ordinance had passed and that we were going to have those protections. I'm really going to ask you to analyze well, because I want people to hear far and loud that the City Council is doing something for the people. You repealed what was gained. This was for people, for the tenants. So I'm asking you to please think about it, analyze it, and again, I want people to say loud and clear that City Council is doing something for the people. The people also deserve respect. So I'm asking you to please analyze and think about it. 10,000 people spoke. So let's hear you do something for Salinas. Thank you.
My name is Maria Vera. I work for Building Healthy Communities, but today I'm showing up as a community member. I think it's your job, your duty to support what you hear from the residents of Salinas. I think you guys already reappealed it. You guys heard back from the community. They gathered 10,000 signatures, including myself. So when you talk about community engagement and really gathering your community to speak up and really back them up, this is it. This is your chance. So I suggest you take it. It won't come again, but you will be getting a lot of pushback from us if you don't reappeal it. So I don't want to say it's a fair warning because you already know what the community is capable of, but take it as a echo, you know? You have community here showing up, standing in community, and it's your turn to meet us halfway. I think they already showed more than halfway, so if you can just show a little quarter, that would be greatly appreciated. Would that be?
On September 9th, will you stand with the families who built this city, the workers who keep it running every day, and the children who deserve a safe and stable home? Respect the voice of the people. Repeal your repeal. Tonight, Salinas spoke. You can no longer treat us like the nuisance voices you don't want to hear. You're on notice. The El Pueblo will not sit back while you make immoral decisions by individuals that are supposed to represent El Pueblo. History is made today in the last couple of months. Thank you to our community for standing strong together. Thousands of residents signed their names to say one clear truth. Salinas needs rent stabilization, tenant protections, and housing justice. When you tried to repeal those protections, the people pushed back. That is democracy, and that is the power of community. So I ask you, on September 9th, will you stand with the families who built this city, the workers who keep it running every day, and the children who deserve a safe and stable home? I yield the rest.
También aquí nada más como un eco, ¿no? De lo que ya se ha expresado, de lo que ya se ha dicho, de lo que se ha elaborado, trabajado. También con el eco, ¿no? De una lengua que tiembla, pero también que resuena a muchos ritmos, ¿verdad? Beyond English or Spanish, right? Y así es que, pues, si es que se hace invertir tanto dinero en una elección especial, ¿verdad? Pues también considerar si hay dinero, si hay recursos, si hay apoyo para cierto movimiento, pues cómo sería también apoyar a que, más espacios como, este parque, Ensign Park, Community Park, right? ¿Cómo sería apoyar más de los esfuerzos de la gente que fue a tocar tanta puerta, a comunicar, a platicar con tanta gente, a conocerse, a reconocerse, ¿verdad? Pues sí, una cosa nada más de eso, porque as it was mentioned before, right? This is just this isn't the solution, but it's an aspect to the necessary movement that you must.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, have I expressed before, I mean, a lot of people worked hard with this, and do you really have the money to invest in a special election? I mean, that's a lot of money, and we have to consider that there's a lot of needs and a lot of other things that we can use. For example, it would be, you can invest it in parks or in other places where you can invest this money. So the question is, are you going to support the people? Are you going to acknowledge all their effort and all their work they put into this?
Mi nombre es Alma Loredo. Yo trabajo para Construyendo Comunidades Saludables del Condado de Monterrey y hoy estoy aquí como residente del Distrito 2 de la ciudad de Salinas. La estabilización de rentas no tiene nada que ver con la falta de viviendas. Esto es acerca de estabilizar y proteger a los residentes e inquilinos, a los que ustedes sirven, los que mantienen el condado, los que lo hacen más rico. Merecemos respeto y es su responsabilidad escuchar y mantenerse responsables a sus votantes. Ya les hemos demostrado lo que la comunidad está pidiendo y lo que pedimos es que deroguen la derogación. Les pedimos que permitan que esto sea decidido en noviembre del 2026 a través de una elección y que acepten que más de 10,000 votantes les están pidiendo mantener las ordenanzas de estabilización de rentas. Y ustedes se deben a ellos. Gracias a la comunidad por su involucramiento cívico, gracias a los voluntarios y a la organización Protegiendo a los Inquilinos de Salinas por todo el esfuerzo y la energía depositada en recolectar historias y apoyo. No a una elección especial. Aún tienen tiempo de demostrar su liderazgo. Buenas tardes.
Alma Loredo, and I am an organizer with BHC. I am a resident from District 2 here in Salinas, and I'm here to talk about rent stabilization. That does not mean lack of housing. This is about protecting tenants. It is about really paying attention to what the voters want. We are asking you to repeal the repeal. We want you to hear the voters. They all got together and they were able to gather 10,000 signatures. Please allow this to be decided in November 2026. You owe this to you owe yourselves to the people. And also, I want to thank to all the volunteers, all the people, the organization Protect Salinas Renters, and all the support and all the stories. And I want to invite you and let you know that it's still time to show your leadership. Listen to what the people want. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Liz Camacho. I live in District 1. I wish I was healthy enough to be there in person and thank my fellow Protect Salinas Renters community for all of their work. Tonight, I want to express my disappointment in the 5 of you who have failed to acknowledge what your constituents have accomplished. Whether you agree or disagree, something amazing happened. You are creating the dysfunction that you yourselves criticized a couple months back by not championing this achievement. This referendum represents democracy in action. Our community came together, knocked on doors, collected the necessary signatures because we believe in the power of the people to shape our city's future. What I witnessed during the month of June was inspiring. Neighbors were talking to neighbors, families were getting involved, and residents were taking ownership of the issues that mattered to them the most. I personally walked door to door with my 9-year-old son, and he witnessed firsthand how democracy works at the grassroots level. He saw that when people care about their community, they don't complain, they act. This was a lesson in civic engagement that I will never regret giving him, and I bet this is a lesson that he'll carry with him for life. The signatures were gathered, the community has spoken, now the ball is on your court. Will you listen to the community? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, first, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen so many residents ever getting engaged in anything in the city of Salinas, ever. So congratulations to all who participated, and if there's one thing I've noticed is people are paying attention more to what's happening at City Hall. With that being said, I'm looking back to April when my colleague Tony Barrera asked and extended an olive branch to ask for just 6 more months. At that time, we were presented with these scare tactics that Salinas could not survive 6 months of these ordinances, that the rental stock would be sold off. And I remember a comment by Eric Peterson who said, if they sell the homes, doesn't that give people an opportunity to buy the homes? And if they sell a 4-plex, they're probably not going to live in that 4-plex. So the rental units will continue and it will give other people an opportunity. As we go forward with this, I'm going to ask the city manager to, I heard public comments today about making data-driven decisions, and we don't have any data so far. So for our next council meeting, I'd like to see the data to support the success or struggles of this rent stabilization, tenant protections. And I think this is probably my 4th council meeting requesting that we do educational workshops for tenants and landlords to educate people on what these ordinances are really about and the resources that we collected money for through the rental registry program, which, by the way, was passed unanimously, right? Even with Councilmember McShane and former Mayor Kimberly Craig supported this unanimously. Now this council, which was supported by those 2, decided to repeal that decision. I know that what's on the floor today will be supported unanimously because there's not really a choice. I mean, we're just verifying that you all collected signatures. But what I'll say is that this referendum really shows what democracy is all about. When leaders make bad decisions, the people always have the power to make those decisions or correct those bad decisions. So kudos to the community, and I think more people are paying attention. I'd also like to say that if we would have waited 6 months, the majority is right here. They could have literally tweaked whatever improvements needed to be tweaked. When people talk about collaboration, they had that opportunity, but they chose not to. They literally have the majority. They could have listened to the landlords, they could have listened to the community, and they could have come up with some kind of solution. The next item up for discussion is funding homeless. If my colleagues decide that there's no money for homeless, but decide that they want to spend $1.5 million on a special election, we should question that a little bit. I just want to tell the community that I want to thank everyone for starting to pay attention. One way or another, the community is paying attention. So keep up the good work.